Welcome to Truth Recon. I'm Agent D. Baker, former narcotics detective, SWAT team member, and U.S. Navy combat veteran. With years of real-world experience in high-stakes environments, I've seen firsthand the dangers that lurk both in our communities and increasingly online. Now, before this show begins, understand this. What you are about to hear may be disturbing to some audiences. This podcast contains explicit language, dark themes, and real conversations that are not suitable for children and may be triggering for some individuals. If you choose to continue, do so knowing this content is intended for mature audiences only. Discretion is advised. What's up, everybody? Hope everyone is having a good Friday and Friday night. If you're an Alabama fan, you're not. We went up by 9 points straight out. I mean, just as soon as the game started on Michigan in the Sweet 16 tonight. And we ended up losing by, I don't know, too many, like 15. Unfortunately. I keep hearing a ding. And I don't. Oh, hold on. My Facebook comments are not showing up for some reason. That's what it is. Try to fix that. Thank you, Haley. I really appreciate that. So, Wednesday evening, our back deck, the stairs going off of our back deck, has been in bad shape. And ever since we bought this house, which was a little over 2 years ago now, I've been promising I'm going to fix the stairs. And at some point, I'm just going to tear the whole deck down and redo it. And I've not been the best husband because I still had not done that. And unfortunately, it almost, I mean, this is an exaggeration, but my wife fell down the back deck steps and hurt her arm. She didn't break anything, thankfully, but bruised her, and it hurt her. And so, of course, I felt horrible because it was my fault because, again, I've been promising ever since we bought the house. And so Thursday morning, I woke up and, all right, I've been putting this off for too long. I got to do it. So, wow, that was a job to take on. And so for the last 2 days, I've worked harder than I have worked in years and about worn out. But that's what I've been doing for the last 2 days. And I don't know if the men on here or the women's husbands on here are the same, but we tend to overpromise on time. Like, I have a very optimistic view of how fast I'm going to get things done. And I was like, oh, I'll get this all done. And like by Friday night, by Friday evening, it's done. Yeah, I'm not even halfway. Because again, I'd tear down the old one. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's probably going to take me at least a week. Anyway, I say all that to say I've not been keeping up with too much news in the past 2 days. Not been on social media hardly at all. And so probably missed some things, some interesting things that's going on. I don't wait on my husband for anything. I will do it or hire someone. So I don't have a lot on the agenda tonight as far as to talk about. And so, and a lot of times on Friday nights anyway, I like it to be a little more laid back and just let y'all ask a bunch of questions and me answer the questions and us just have conversations like that. So that's probably what most of the night will be like. There's a few things I want to talk about that I have seen. One is in regards to Walker County Sheriff, Walker County, Alabama Sheriff Nick Smith, and a post he made. Let me go ahead and pull that up. Oh, yeah, and I apologize for the technical issue I had at the beginning of the live. Every video I have on my production screen decided they are going to play at the same time. If y'all heard all that. If you haven't already, make sure you download the Rumble app. Did you check the back? Simple to use. Meet and Clever Ellie. And they're not finished, apparently. Okay, let me see if I can get this fixed. All right, should be good now. So we're going to go to this page. So I'm just now seeing this one. This stuff pisses me off. Headed out to do a little patrol. Just because it's political season. This stuff pisses me off. Here's here. We'll eventually get to what I was going to. Here's another one of the things that Nick Smith has undertaken that is not his responsibility, nor should he be doing. This newly formed search and rescue team that he has started, you won't find another sheriff's office with that another sheriff that's focusing on that, because it's not their job. That's the EMA, the emergency management. Walker County's EMA director, and I don't know who that is, but that's their job. That's literally their job. Literally. Again, if he would just focus on the things that he's required to do by law to do, he would be better off, but he won't. In fact, as we've said before, those are the things he has the least focus on. So this post. Now, to most people, they'll probably see this post and think, oh, wow, that's really good. And it is. It's a good bust. Anytime you can get 2 ounces of ice off the street, that's a great bust. Although, problem is, if these charges he listed are correct, it's the incorrect charge for this. Therefore, it won't make it through the first court hearing. You can't make this stuff up. And it almost makes you wonder, is he really this ignorant? Or does he just play dumb because he wants to act like they're doing something when they're not actually taking down the dealers? So anyway, this popped up on my feed earlier, and I saw this. I was like, oh, well, hey, that's good. I'll take that. I'll tell anyone that is part of that a good job. I don't care who you are. And then the things that immediately stuck out to me was, see, if you can't read it, it says, overnight, deputies made an arrest that prevented another theft from happening in our community. During the incident, deputies seized approximately 2 ounces of methamphetamine and recovered 2 ATVs believed to be stolen, which have not yet been reported by their owners. Suspects were caught in the middle of committing another theft. Samuel James Burnett was arrested and charged with theft of property 1st degree, resisting arrest, the theft of property 4th degree, and possession with intent to distribute. So I'm like, hold on. 2 ounces, possession with intent to distribute. You literally cannot charge someone that has 2 ounces with possession with intent to distribute. You can't. It's not that is not the law they broke. So you've charged somebody with something you can't. And I have multiple issues with this. Number one, because again, this won't make it through the first court hearing. It's the drug charge anyway. Hopefully the other things stick, but this drug charge will not go anywhere. And that pisses me off, because what is your point then? Why are you not charging these people with everything you can? Now, and I commented on his post. Let's see if he's responded. I'm sure he hasn't. He has. So he says, well, let's see what. So I responded, If it's 2 ounces, you cannot charge them with possession with intent. It has to be trafficking, which is the most serious drug crime you can commit. It's a Class A felony. You can get sentenced up to life in prison for it. Any attorney would easily get this charge thrown out. The code clearly states, and it's Alabama Code 13A 12-11. More than 8. So what the state code states is if they're in possession of methamphetamine or mixture thereof and has more than 8 grams but less than 28 grams. Or, well, I actually wrote the whole thing out anyway. More than 8 grams but less than 28 grams of methamphetamine or any mixture containing that its salts, optical isomers, or salt of its optical isomers thereof. So again, simple math is 28 grams is an ounce, and we've got 55, almost 56 grams, so just under 2 ounces, but definitely more than 28. It's trafficking. And so he has responded. That is his charges from another investigation, and will have additional charges coming for trafficking. Hence the word additional charges. Now I'm even way more confused than I was in the beginning. That is his charges from another investigation? Well, that's weird because you're posting here and you're clearly acting as if your deputies stopped a theft in progress and arrested him, and during that arrest, located 55 grams of ice. So let's say he is telling the truth here, which I highly doubt, because I don't trust anything the man says. What you're telling me, Nick Smith, is that it's his charges from another investigation. So you're saying he already had warrants and should have already been charged with possession with intent? But you had not arrested him. And since you had not arrested him, he's out stealing everything that he can find. More than likely, very, very expensive things from people that work hard for them. So again, now I'm more confused than I was in the beginning. If he already had these charges that you've listed up here, why was he not already in jail? I worked narcotics for a long time. I've made a lot of really big cases. I've made a lot of small ones. I've flipped more people than I could ever count. Worked with thousands of informants over the years. One thing I know, if I caught someone with trafficking weight, they were going to jail for trafficking then. There's no need in waiting. I don't understand that. The only time you would wait is if they were going to work for you. If you caught them in the act of stealing these expensive things, they're not going to be in them. They're not going to work for you, or I would hope to God not. Therefore, that's off the table from the beginning. You're not even going to try to flip this person because there are property crimes within the same incident. Therefore, they need to go to jail for good reason. Because there are victims out there that gotten their stuff stolen that want them to go to jail for this. I cannot think of a scenario why if you get someone with trafficking weight, why you're waiting to charge them with trafficking. So either he's lying, or this is even more proof they have no clue what the hell they're doing. I don't understand. Now, this comment is ignorant. It says, drugs is drugs. No matter how many ounces it is, get it off the street. No, the point is not getting the drugs off the street. The point is putting the people dealing them, selling them in prison. Because let me tell you how much good you're doing by getting 2 ounces of ice off the street just with that. No good. You're wasting your time. That's what you're doing. Because in the grand scheme of things, 2 ounces of ice is not much. Now, if you got 10 pounds, I'd say, hey, I agree. Glad you got it off the street. 2 ounces, it's nothing. Unfortunately, this is how they think. And we know that because of their court history, of them making the arrest they make and then never show up for court and all charges getting dropped. I love this comment. Here we go with these internet lawyers. I'm not a lawyer, never claimed to be one, but I was a really, really highly decorated narcotics agent in this state. And been considered an expert in that field for a long time. And the amount of prison time you're going to get for possession with intent to distribute in that rug right now, 0. Promise you they will never go to a prison. They will never see the inside of a prison over that charge. Trafficking, they probably will. It's a big difference. Anyway, I didn't realize I was going to end up more confused than I was in the beginning, but he continues to not make any sense whatsoever, and more clear that he has no freaking clue, nor does anyone that works for him have a fucking clue what they're doing, and it drives me insane. This is not rocket science. I am not that smart. So if I know all of this like the back of my hand, they should too. Again, it's not rocket science. Anyway, let's move on. I forgot about that interview. I still haven't watched that. I need to listen to that tomorrow for sure. This is the most comical thing I'll see all month. Right here. This statement. Proven leadership. I got to save that. It's not going to let me? Never mind. Do it later. Proven leadership. Oh, by the way, while we're on the subject, and I saw this Bobby Mason is Nick Smith. Well, it's either Nick Smith or the guy that runs Nick Keys. His guy that runs the jail or does something at the jail. It's one of them. And you see this guy. I've checked the pictures on this guy's profile. They're all pulled from different social media things of other people. And so I knew it was. But this guy, you'll see, Bobby Mason, comments on every single post Nick Smith makes. And this is why he's so gung-ho on there's all these other politicians behind all these fake pages, because he's behind so many and he thinks everybody does that. In reality, most people don't have time for that mess and don't take the time to sit around and make a bunch of fake profiles. What in the heck? I guess I'm leaving the page. There we go. I guess it was supposed to proven leadership. Anyway. All right, let me catch up on comments. I don't know what's going on with Facebook. I apologize. I don't know what's going on. Every time I pop the comment section out, I understand. Most of you don't know what that verbiage means. it's not updating the okay, there we go. I was like, why is Facebook not coming in? Oh, okay, here we go. What's up, Ann from Arkansas? Well, I hope he's not an informant. If you are an informant and you get caught stealing a expensive ATV or really anything, then you can't be an informant anymore. There's a lot here in Coleman that's been busted numerous times. They let go to be narcs while still continuing. Now, I'm the first that'll tell you, and anybody that's ever worked with me, or anyone that's ever been to any of my narcotics classes will tell you, I'm like known for, I don't care if I ever send a low level, I don't care if I ever make an arrest on a low level dealer. I don't. That is not my purpose. My purpose is working my way up. And so once I get to the top, that's when I want to start sending people to prison, to federal prison. That was my goals. So I'm all for flipping people. And if you've got, like this guy, if he didn't have the thefts with him and he had 2 ounces, I would not even have thought twice about arresting him. I would not have arrested him. I would have flipped him and made him bust his dealer. Now, especially these small town wannabe narcs get wrong is they go off this 1970s. And yes, this was big in the 1970s and has not been since. There's so many little narcotics units that still use this of, all right, well, if you bust 3 people, I'll let you go. What? It's the dumbest thing I ever heard. I bet you $1,000. I bet you $1,000 right now. That's what they tell people still in Walker County. I bet you it is, and that is ignorant, and that is you're doing nothing because that's not the way it should be ever. It's I don't want you to bust 3 people. I want you to bust 1. Your dealer. And more than likely, you don't have 3 different dealers you're buying from. Unless you're just a user. They'll buy from 10 different people. But if you're an actual dealer yourself, you've probably, more than likely, you have 1 source. That's who I want you to bust. That's it. And then I bust that person. And then say, hey, you can either bust your dealer or you can go to prison. I don't care. That's up to you. And flip them. And then theirs. And so again, at the end of a long operation like that, I only want 1 person to go to prison. And that's the way it should be. But anyway, back to what I was saying, what a lot of these people like this that don't know what they're doing, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great units, narcotics units in Alabama that they know what they're doing and they're really good at it. Don't misunderstand me. Most are really good at what they do and have a lot of experience, and their agents are great. But some are like this. And first off, if you don't work narcotics full time, you're not going to be good at narcotics. And if you have 1 or 2 people in a narcotics unit, that's worthless. You might as well put them on patrol. you need at least 4 people, at least. Really, you need more than that. But I understand some smaller agencies could only handle that. But it's very important. They should do it. But anyway. They don't. And again, it goes with they don't have the experience enough to understand when somebody's just trying to when somebody says, yeah, I'll work for you, and then they just go bust their competition. And then they let them go. That's not you have to have a lot of experience in that work to be able to understand that. When I first got in that work, I wasn't good at that at all. And I would take their word for it, and I would go back to the office, and I would be so excited. And then the experienced and good agents there would bust my bubble and be like, no, they're just trying to bust their competition. So again, it's a big learning curve. But they don't understand. They just hear somebody say, well, I'll bust so-and-so, and they just want to make another bust. And again, it's not effective at all. That's the war on drugs. Not effective in any way whatsoever. And that's why we still have such a huge drug problem in this country, is because there's still too many narc units operating like that. There are still some people that claim to be experts in this and teach some narcotics classes that still teach that. Not many. And they don't get to do it long before other people realize, hey, don't pay them to teach. Don't pay them to come here and teach us anything. They don't know what they're talking about either. Anyway. They just don't know what they're doing. And by his comments, or by his post, and then by his comment, it's very, very clear that they don't have a clue. And it's very frustrating. That is your number one problem in Walker County, by far. And as I've said before, now, I can't speak for exactly today, but you're not going to convince me it's much different than it was 7 years ago in Walker County, when Walker County was the hub in Alabama for drugs by far. And I'm not talking about 2 ounces. I'm talking about kilos and kilos of H, and probably now fent, and pounds of meth. Like major dealers there. Major. And again, you're not going to convince me that it's that much different. Maybe it's not as bad as it was. Maybe they've moved to some other places. I highly doubt it, though. Why would they move to other places? Because I know they haven't been busted. Not by them. And so, again, you could stumble. Walker County is one of those places you could stumble into a huge bust. I seen it happen in the Shoals when I was working up there. And this is not dogging anybody up there. Please don't misunderstand me on that. But specifically, Muscle Shoals is a hub. It's a hub. Especially for meth. There is legit cartel presence in Muscle Shoals. Legit cartel presence. And up there one day, I can't remember what agency it was. We went and assisted them. I can't remember if it was DEA or state. Anyway, one of them pretty much stumbled upon like 10 or 15 kilos. I can't remember. Maybe I want to say, yeah, 15 kilos of the white powdery substance, the coke. if you don't know anything about that drug in the trafficking world, that's a huge bust on that drug. Huge. I mean, that's like a career bust. And in some of these small towns, you can stumble upon that because that's where these big major, that's where the cartel presence are. The cartel is not set up in downtown Birmingham. They're set up in these small counties, in these small towns where they don't have much law enforcement. And then also where people in those, the law enforcement in those counties don't know how to work narcotics. Again, they don't just throw an arrow, a dart at a map, and then where it lands, they move to and set up shop. That's not what they do. They're very strategic. And again, you're not going to find huge cartel presence in downtown Birmingham or Tuscaloosa or Shelby County or Mobile. Like, you're going to have some big dealers in those areas, but it's not going to be the cartel. But I've worked cases on cartel. I got to be careful with what I say. Associates, we'll say, in Walker County. And again, I know they're still there. Just because why the hell would they leave? And seeing the things that I see now and how this sheriff's office operates, I would bet everything I have, at least some, or we'll say at least a few law enforcement officers in that county are getting paid by those organizations. I guarantee you. And they hadn't been caught because we had heard about it. And, thankfully, yes, you have the FBI there now, but the FBI doesn't know how to work drugs either. They pretend they do. They're clueless. And since this got us started on what I'm talking about now, please don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying this guy they busted has anything to do with the cartel, because it doesn't. Please don't misunderstand me. My mistake was assuming they had a clue in the first place. You're exactly right. Gloria, I hadn't had a chance to watch anything anybody sent me in the last few days, but I will, I promise. Let Aaliyah take over and rehire, replace everyone. Aaliyah doesn't have that authority. That's per the Alabama state constitution. It should be changed. They do have the authority to investigate the sheriff and throw his tail in federal prison, but they don't have the authority to take over a sheriff's office. was trying to see what Christy was commenting to, and I couldn't find it. And they have access to I-22. I told you the biggest cash bust in the, as far as I know, in the history of in the state of Alabama, was on I-22 in Walker County, and it was a little over $3 million in cash. I saw it with my own eyes. I wasn't part of the actual stop or the bust, but one of my number one mentors and guy that worked with a lot, it was his case, and he called me, and I ran up there. I went up there and was standing in the room with it, and it was something amazing. Oh, somebody was trying to start. Oh, okay, I see now. I have a question. Why do you think they keep doing this and not taking them to jail for crimes like these? I see it happening in the city where I live. Well, again, it depends on who you're talking about and what you're talking about, Cody, because, again, I understand a lot of people, citizens, don't understand the narc world. I understand that. And so they think if you catch somebody with drugs, you just should take them to jail. But again, that's what's led us to where we are today. So that's not what you should do. You should be flipping people, and that's the way you can actually make an impact. But so many things are coming to my mind on his comment now. Makes me think that there's a possibility he was sitting on this until it got closer to election time. And I would not put that past him. And if that is the case, that's unacceptable. What's up, Monica? What year? 2000 and I would say, and then I'd probably be wrong. I want to say 18, but I could be wrong. Hold on, let me see. It'd take me too long to find the picture. The only way I could say and not be wrong, say between 2016 and 2019. And the guy I was talking about, the one that made that case, he was born and raised in Walker County, and he's the one that taught me tons of things about Walker County. Nick Smith needs to stop trying to play like he's the way to Jesus. No, I truly think he believes that. I really do. Isn't that classic narcissist behavior? Well, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I mean, he is definitely a narcissist. Not the see. There's one with narcissist tendencies. He's not that. He's the whatever it's called. I can't remember the term. I don't think he's a sociopath. And the only reason I say that is most known sociopaths are very, very intelligent. And he is dumb. He does not have a high IQ. And so that's the only reason I don't think that. But again, I'm not a psychiatrist. I mean, he may be. He does have that hold on. Let's see. Does he have that smooth forehead? That could be Botox, knowing that guy, though. I don't know. I mean, he does have a really smooth forehead. You may be right, Christy. Oh, wow. I've never even thought about that. Oh, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, so true sociopaths, their foreheads are really smooth. They don't have many wrinkles at all on their forehead, so they can be 50 and just have no wrinkles on their forehead. And it's because of the facial expressions that normal people make. Sociopaths don't, because they don't feel anything. And so, now some of them are very good at mimicking those behaviors, and they will, they've never been sad a day in their life. They don't have those feelings like that, and so, and they're not passionate about anything. But anyway, the facial expressions that normal people make, they don't make. But again, some of them are very good at mimicking those, and so they will watch movies and stuff. They will literally sit around and watch movies and things like that, and watch people's expressions when they're supposed to be sad or whatever, and then they will go and stand in front of a mirror for hours and trying to make those same expressions, just practicing, so they can appear that they feel those things when other people do. But again, their IQ is usually very high. And his IQ is not high, but I mean, he may be, because he does have that smooth forehead. But again, knowing him, it may be Botox. But you can look at a lot of the serial. I can't say the other word. They keep me off, but you know what I'm talking about. You can look at some of them, and again, you can see no matter what their age is, they have extremely smooth foreheads. But part of like part of reading body language and micro expressions is what we call them, is when someone is truly, like if someone's acting like they're fired up and they're pissed off or they're passionate about something, the way to tell that is if they're moving their eyebrows. If their eyebrows are going up and down while they're talking, then they're not BSing. They truly feel the way they're saying. If they're acting like they're all pissed off or whatever, or something's bothering them, or whatever the case is, but when you're watching their eyebrows and they're not moving, then they're lying. They're just pretending that they're being upset or whatever. And so, but again, so they kind of go together as far as that's one of the reasons. It's not the only micro expression that people make that sociopaths don't, but that's one of them. And that's why we have, again, normal people have wrinkles on our foreheads and then on our nose, and like on the corner of our eyes and things like that. But sociopaths don't really have those. It's very interesting, actually. The hell is that box that's come up on my? I don't know where that came from. I thought it might be my camera, but it's. I don't know what that is. I don't know where that came from. It's something every day. I don't understand. There we go. They got me in their crosshairs. What in the world is going on with my camera all of a sudden? Sorry, I'm OCD, and so that stuff bothers me. So I got to get it fixed, or to drive me insane. Okay, there we go. Hey, Tammy, how are you? Okay, I'm just going to have to do Facebook comments the normal way here because I don't know why it's not. My goodness, it's the things that's acting up today. That's probably the user, more than likely. I'm doing pretty well. All right, what else do y'all want to discuss? Ask some questions. See, I can't think if there was anything else I was for sure wanting to discuss. Here's a new one. Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall announced that the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, has acted on a request from a coalition of attorneys general urging the immediate ban of bromozolam, bromozolam, sounds cool like that, known as designer Xanax. I'm not familiar with that. Is anyone familiar with that? Now, on that same subject, I always get off on my soapbox of benzodiazepams, which is Xanax, Ativans, those things. Be very, very careful with those. Very careful. They scared me to death because there's only two drugs that can take your life just from just from coming off of them. One is alcohol. I'm sure everyone's heard of DTs, and so yeah, it can take your life quick. You have to be very careful. If you're a true alcoholic, you can't just stop cold turkey drinking. You will not live. You have to go to the hospital. And the other is benzos. You can't, if you take benzos every single day, like if you take Xanax every day or anything, you can't stop cold turkey. It will take your life. Those are the only two. But benzos have always scared me to death. I don't mess with them at all. I'm not against people that do take them prescribed by a doctor. Please don't misunderstand me. I understand some people need those for sure, and I don't have an issue with that. Doctor, is prescribing them to you. I'm just telling you, in those cases when they are, please be careful with them, because they will sneak up and get you, and you will be addicted to them. And again, you can't just stop those. So this is one of those things, and I figured it was when I saw it. I'm just not, because I've been out of that, field for. Well, I've been out of narcotics now for since 2018. So what's that? 8 years. Wow, that's a long time. Yeah, I haven't heard of this particular one, but I figured it was one that they sell at the gas stations. You got to be careful with that stuff. And that's crazy to have to say that you have to be careful what you buy from a gas station, but you do. I've watched people go to, Chris said, I've watched people go to ICU trying to come off of this gas station dope. I volunteer with the Foundry, and it's a rising problem. So I wonder if it's like I wonder if it is the same, because I'm not a chemist, and I'm not a. Oh, I have a few pharmacists that follow me. I don't know if they're on tonight, but I wonder if that. I wonder if it is the same way. Like, I wonder if this is that bad that whatever the chemical makeup of benzos, whatever that causes that. I wonder if this is the same way. If so, that's crazy. But I 100% agree with it being banned. Although, in the state of Alabama, it doesn't have to be banned. It already is. And the reason I know that is because it would fall under the synthetic cannabinoid law in Alabama. And that law states it doesn't matter what the chemical makeup is. If it's a substance that you are taking for the reason of getting high and it makes you high, it's a controlled substance in the state of Alabama. And that law was written like that for this stuff, because we kept on passing laws banning certain substances when the synthetics first came along, the spice and things, and they would just change the chemical makeup. And so Alabama was the first state to pass a law like that. And it was great. And a lot of people were against it. I was on the front lines. I was I guess technically you call it, I wrote parts of the bill. So I don't know if I'd ever say I co-wrote it, but I did write parts of it, and I had a lot of input in it. And it was a really good thing. But that also goes back, though, to what we were talking about with Walker County, though. There are a lot of, I ain't going to say a lot. I say that word a lot, and I need to stop. There are some law enforcement agencies and officers in this state that don't understand the law, and so they own that, and they don't even ever think about it. But they should, because, again, stuff like this. And all you have to do is, if you catch someone with it, get them to admit that they take it to get high and that it makes them high. That's it. That's all you got to have. And it's a controlled substance. A Class C felony. No. Is controlled substance a Class C, or did it move in that Class D? Yeah, I was right. It moved to the Class D, so it's a Class D felony. But still, either way, it's a felony. I saw where Yarborough's son was shot. Yeah, yeah, we talked about that Wednesday. When did we? No, we talked about that Monday night on the live, and then well, I actually did a short podcast on it too. Um, well, I was trying to answer somebody's comment and then it disappeared. Let me find it again. Where the heck did it go? I don't know. So I was gonna call you by name, whoever made the comment about you're talking about the Fayette County. I'm pretty sure you're talking about um, well, I don't know. Anyway, my team thinks I'm crazy sometimes, but I'm telling you, I will be reading a comment and then it just disappears. And that's what just happened. And it's not just on TikTok. That was on Facebook. Anyway, if you were talking about Timothy Vest Benton, unfortunately, that answer is no. He is still not back in prison. Tattoo on the front porch gal and the Nancy Guthrie thing. I know some people were saying that back a while, and then I did see where I think that had been pretty much confirmed. I haven't seen much else with it, but I I had to stop pretty much keep trying to keep up with that case because of that sheriff. I mean, it that's still the craziest thing I've ever in my life seen. I still, and it was bothering me so much. I stopped paying much attention to anything. So I'm waiting until hopefully they arrest somebody because I'm so lost on it. Uh, Nothing that's happened in that makes sense. It's I don't know. Do you still see the comment I was commenting on, Joyce, or did it just disappear for you too? Okay, it did disappear. Marsha. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened to your comment. Yeah, I wish I had better news on that. I'm still confident that we will soon. I don't know what y'all talking about on TikTok. Y'all talking about sushi. I don't know where y'all came from. Have I been keeping up with what's happening with the ramp? I've not looked deep enough into it like I should. Hold on, I need to take a note of that because that was the other thing I was wanting to start doing a bunch of research on, and then I had forgotten. Yeah, because I'm going to do a full podcast on that. But we can talk about it. It's located in Hamilton, Alabama. Blessed. Here, let's pull it up. Let's talk about it again. I don't have anything really planned for tonight. Let's get off of his page here. God, that's horrible. Female found deceased after domestic disturbance in Colbert County. Authorities are investigating after a female was found deceased following a reported domestic disturbance Friday evening. Emergency crews were dispatched shortly after 5 p.m. to the area of Old Lee Highway. Both Cherokee Fire and Rescue and Barton Fire Department responded. Colbert County Sheriff confirmed adult female pronounced deceased. That's sad. So let's see what. I don't know why this is doing this. It won't let me see the whole thing. So this is the statement from Karen Wheaton and Ramp Leadership, and this was on March the 17th, so it's been about 10 days ago. Last week, a brave individual came forward reporting that 4 years ago they experienced inappropriate contact by a staff member of the ramp. The staff member involved was Samuel Bentley, and the individual was a minor at the time of the incident. Upon receiving this report, leadership immediately addressed the matter with Samuel. Now, I do remember a few things that I've looked up in regards to this that will contradict this in some ways. So let's read this, and then I want to go pull up some of the stuff I'm talking about. Upon receiving this report, leadership immediately addressed the matter with Samuel during that conversation. First off, that's not what should have happened. upon receiving that information, they should not have addressed the matter with Samuel. They should have notified the authorities. So I have a big problem with that, because that's not what you do. You need to notify the police so they can start an investigation, because they have their own certain way of conducting investigations that is probably going to screw up some things, since they went and addressed it with him first. So what this is telling me is we were so concerned with our reputation, we immediately went to him instead of calling the police first. Because this is crazy. During that conversation, he admitted the allegation was true. Samuel was immediately terminated from his position. See, now hopefully it didn't screw up this investigation. But if I was the detective and was notified of that, and it was my case, and I found out they talked to him first, I would have some choice words with them. So if you're ever in that situation, don't do that. Samuel was immediately terminated from his position. The Ramp Board of Directors was notified, and the matter was promptly reported to the appropriate authorities. No, it wasn't promptly reported. This is really getting me pissed off, thinking, because it's the first time I've read this, and I didn't realize that's what happened. Like I said, I hope it doesn't screw this up, but that has the potential to ruin this case altogether. That's how serious this is, that they did that like that. And that is not what you're supposed to do. And just so, if you're a mandatory reporter, that's not what you're supposed to do. Mandatory reporting means you immediately notify law enforcement and you let them handle everything. You don't go and conduct your investigation first and then call them. Because again, that right there could keep him from going to prison. And again, I hope it doesn't, but it absolutely could. A few days later, Samuel disclosed a second instance involving another minor. What? I just want to make sure I'm reading this right. Samuel was immediately terminated from his position. If he was immediately terminated, why were you having conversations with him a few days later? Am I missing something here? A few days later, Samuel disclosed a second instance involving another minor, which was also reported to the appropriate authorities. We are readily cooperating with law enforcement as their investigation proceeds. you're screwing up their investigations is what you're doing. Let me back out of this and see. I don't know why it's not letting me. Oh my God, it's doing the same thing. Okay. Let me try a different route here. Okay, here we go. All right. Based on the information currently known to us, these incidents did not occur on church property or in connection with Ramp University. That's the biggest BS statement I've ever heard. How would it not be connected to Ramp University, considering that's how these people knew each other? There's something going on with this church. This stuff is sketchy. The way they're wording this, this is sketchy as can be. As Samuel is someone we platform to speak and lead, our community is devastated by these revelations. Our deepest concern is for the victims and their families. No, it's not. It's of you. As a ministry, we are committed to supporting their ongoing healing in any way possible, and we are working with them to pursue this. I hope the victims are not working with them on anything. To the victims, we want to say clearly, we believe you, we grieve with you, and we stand with you. If you're working with the victims, you shouldn't have to make a statement talking to the victims because you would already said this to the victims. Anyway, out of respect for those affected and the seriousness of the situation, we have made the decision to cancel this week's scheduled events. And then it quotes Psalm 34:18. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. It's not a time to be quoting scripture right now, Ramp, just to be honest with you. We are committed to hold our team members to the highest standards and are unwavering in our commitment to protect minors and ensure a safe environment for those entrusted to our care. The safety and well-being of those in our community, especially minors, remains our chief priority. We do not tolerate abuse of any kind and are committed to transparency, accountability, and care for those affected. At this time, the victims have requested to remain anonymous. Doesn't matter if they requested, you can't name them. We kindly ask our community to respect their privacy and honor their request not to be publicly identified. All right, let me see where these. So, Karen, good point, Katie. Don't call this a church, please. I do apologize for that. Thank you, because you are correct. Hey, Sarah, how are you? Why can't people just keep it in their pants? I don't get it. Oh, this has nothing to do with keeping it in their pants. Why do people have to be child predators? So Samuel is Karen's son-in-law. Yeah, it figures. Oh, okay. Yeah, see, you didn't know they were minors. Yeah, yeah, they were minors. Have you not shared the live? Please do that, or even if you have before, we please share that again. Let me find the stuff that I was. Yeah, I know these allegations were made more than a year ago, and I've got proof. Hold on, that's what I'm. Let me get all this situated. Oh, that reminds me of something else I just saw. Team I just sent y'all something in Discord. Check that out. Get your laugh for the night. All right, let me see. Let's try this again. I don't know. I'm about to give up. I apologize. I'm having some major technical difficulties here. All right. Never mind. I don't know. I can't get it to work. So let me see. I don't know. Sorry, for some reason my Dropbox from my phone is not syncing with my Dropbox on my computer. That's never happened. All right, never mind. Sorry, I get so frustrated and then I just want to do it out of spite. Let me see if I can find. Let's do it this way. Okay. Finally figured out a way to find the comment I was talking about. For anybody that's still left on here, I probably just lost everybody. All right, here we go. So, and I'm guessing people started commenting on this comment again because it just showed up on my feed the other day, and I found it pretty crazy. And so, and I don't know who this woman is, and so this is nothing negative towards her. I just found the comment crazy. And what it says is, and this was made on January the 10th of 2025. So, well over a year ago. My unpopular opinion about the ramp. So many of the allegations I've seen are former students who have fallen away from Jesus or didn't like the rules there. Rules that are just like so many other Bible colleges. No, I don't believe it to be a cult. Heck, people called my church, the Solid Rock, a cult because the way we believe. So I pray the lies be exposed. People really need to be careful speaking against. So obviously, well over a year ago, there were allegations. I don't know if this is the same allegations, but there are some kind of serious allegations, apparently. And this is where these places like this is what they try to do. When someone speaks out against them or some like a victim in this case. So many of the allegations I have seen are former students who have fallen away from Jesus or didn't like the rules there. No, turns out the leaders there had fallen way away from Jesus, not the victims. Yeah, and that's a good point too, Christy. No wonder they did. And then people really need to be careful speaking against. No, they don't. And then this comment on the post, and again, this was over a year ago. Love the ramp, and Karen is an anointed woman of God, and we're blessed and honored to have her. God bless her forever and surround her with favor like a shield. Please the blood of Jesus over her, and angel armies protect her. In Jesus' name. And then she says, yes, I've always want to honor the calling on someone's life. Oh, and here's the comment. Well, this didn't age well, and this was a recent comment. Oh, this is a cult. This comment, I know my grandfather was on fire for God, and he loved the ramp. The ones going who are really living for the Lord likely don't care as much about what everyone else is saying like people think they do. They don't fear man. And this was just made a week ago. God exposes what needed to be exposed. You know nothing about God's word if you don't think sin can happen in a building. And so here's someone, former RSM student here, and I'm still a Christian, followed all their rules, but I know personally some of these allegations are true, especially a couple of the SA ones. Okay, so yeah, this was the allegations then. I know at least two people of those stories are 100% true. I don't necessarily think it's a cult, but definitely some systematic abuse going on. And protecting Perry Stone was wrong, and bringing someone accused of abuse, proven or not, around your young students is putting them at risk. Yes, I agree with that. And this was over a year ago. Agree 100% of the ramp. 100% of the ramp is amazing. Have been several times. Yes, people better be careful with their lies. Karen Wheaton is a true woman of God. You can feel the presence of God all over that lady. What? People are walking on dangerous grounds, talking crap against her. I pray the truth comes out. Well, turns out the truth did come out. It's a cult. These people are talking about Karen like she's a god. Anyone disagree with me? Yeah, these people are talking about Karen like she's a god. This is total facts. Thank you for boasting. Totally agree. We are blessed to have a ministry like the Ramp in our area. Been watching Karen since she was young on the Jimmy Swaggart Show. We have been blessed at the Solid Rock Church with the worship team made up of graduates or students from the Ramp. Satan is just stared up because the Ramp is making a difference. Turns out Satan was in the Ramp. Haley's comment here, which she's Haley's awesome anyway, but this post aged like milk. Oh, that's true. Yep. Yeah, so this is wow. Yeah, so this place has been facing these allegations for a while and very well known. Oh my God, that's the longest Facebook post I've ever seen in my life. In a heartfelt address, founder Karen Wheaton and the ministry leadership expressed their brokenness, stating, "This is, oh my goodness, these people, this is Satan." Here's another post that's aged well from 2023. If you don't think the ramp has bettered this town, you are misinformed. If you think the skating rink was purchased while fully functional and closed just for the sake of being closed down, hold on, let me make sure this is the same ramp we're talking about here. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah, so I mean, these people are their followers act like this place is just the greatest. I mean, literally the greatest thing ever. Wow. Let's see what this is about. It's only about 2 minutes.
Gotta learn to keep the secrets. Hey, Miss Karen, come up here. Rick, come up here, because I know there's transitions. It's all it is. It's all it is. It's simple transition of what God's about to do here. Come down here. I want everybody, you see this precious lady? If you've got her back, come down here. Your youth that are here tonight and others that may not be here, not able to be here, but your youth have a level of maturity that's beyond their years. And you have a lot of servants and you have a lot of people that's willing to serve. And you also have Inner Circle. One of the great ministers of our day, who pastors one of the greatest churches in America, mentors people for ministry. And he told a friend of mine this. This friend of mine was starting to have very well-known people to come to their church. And people would pick them up, and sometimes people would be in the room, and they would want to discuss serious issues in the body of Christ and things that had come up, to know how to pray about it, to know how to deal with it.
Well, you were in this
The
service,
bishop noticed
Melissa? Wow.
some of the guys were listening. Okay? And he stopped. He said, "You men, look at me." He said, "You're going to be in the presence of greatness. People who hear from God and people who know a lot. And they know information. And there's going to be times they have to discuss things. And the greatest thing you'll ever learn when you're in the presence of greatness is to how to shut your mouth and let other people talk, and you listen and never repeat it. Learn to shut up.
What?
Be in the presence of greatness. And when you hear something, to hide it in your heart. But if you can hear it and go to your prayer closet and never speak it, you got to learn to keep the secrets. You hear me? In the business world, in the government, in politics, in the military, and in the church, if you can learn to be in the inner circle, know what's going on, worship God, and just pray about it, you will always sit in the third chair. God sees that you honor those things that are the mysteries of the kingdom. And in life, He's going to bless you like you can't even imagine with friends, because they're going to know you can go to them, trust Him with anything. You can trust Him with money. You got to learn.
There was a lot wrong with that. I've been in church my whole life. I've never heard anything like that in church. That is a cult, truthfully. That's a cult. First off, the greatness, if you're a Christian and you're especially when you're in, the greatness is God. It's not one specific person there. Like, I have a lot of issues with how he was saying that. And saying you're going to hear things and you got to learn to keep secrets. No? What? Did that make sense to anyone? I've never heard anything like that. And he said, you'll be in the presence of people that hear from God. We all hear from God. It's not just preachers that hear from God. Like, what are you talking about? You're going to hear from people that you're going to be around people that hear from God. That's scary. That's scary. Yeah, no, that's wow. I've never had a I've never been told in church that you need to learn to keep secrets. That word, like, that's scary. That is, I didn't realize that. I've seen people becoming, oh, it's a cult. But you hear
Hamilton,
that about
Alabama. We wanna
other
hear
places
your
too at times.
thoughts on the ramp.
But man,
I want to talk to the one.
that's legit.
Just because one of the staff members on the church staff has confessed now to having inappropriate relationships with underage girls in the church or in the school of ministry there. So instead of, everybody attacking this guy, they want to attack the ministry and Miss Karen Wheaton and the ramp and all the things they've done.
Well,
just
because he was a leader there. And he's the founder's son-in-law. And obviously, these allegations didn't just come up.
One of the staff members on the church staff has confessed now to having inappropriate relationships with underage girls in the church or in the school of ministry there. So instead of, everybody attacking this guy, they want to attack the ministry and Miss Karen Wheaton and the ramp and all the things they've done because of this one guy. Now the whole church is a cult
because of this one guy. He was literally a leader of the ministry. This guy's talking like it was just somebody that goes to church there. Wow.
This happened.
Again, this was not just a staffer. Samuel Bentley is Miss Karen's own son-in-law, and he was the prophet of the house. He was also in charge of the finances of the ministry and other businesses that Karen owns. He was under her tutelage, being discipled by her for 25 years. This proves that this is the kind of fruit that Karen produces. And this is not the first time that we see allegations like this coming out about the ramp. This is now the third time. The first one was Andrew High, who was a chosen member, part of their dance team, part of their ministry team, and he has since been arrested for these acts against minors. The second one was the allegation against a guy named Mike McBride, who was leading their school of ministry. This is now the third one, and it is the biggest one because of Samuel Bentley's proximity to the main leader, Karen Wheaton. What we see here is a pattern that the ramp hides people who essay children and their students. Again, if you have stories about this place, please share them. We need to build a huge case so that this place can shut down and that these acts will no longer happen.
So this wasn't the first person
this one guy now
out of this.
One of the
Wow.
The whole church is a cult.
Yeah, so these people have been going after them for a while, way before this came out. So people have known. So this was back in March of 25. And this Stephen Womack, if you weren't able to join the live, please catch up and share this amazing interview with Sean Monaghan. So proud of this young man for stepping forward to speak out on the ramp and the accounts of SA he experienced that was covered up and resulted in more abuse that ended in a prison sentence for the offender. So this must have been the other guy that got arrested that guy was talking about. And here's another victim saying it was covered up. And if y'all, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I didn't have that up. I've been sitting here pretty much talking to myself. My bad. Apologize. If you're not following Danielle Bragwell, please go follow her. She's a really close friend of mine, and she's on my team. Amazing person. But she's been doing some reporting herself on this. She knows a lot more about it than I do right now. But she puts out some good stuff too.
The plans for next year. Getting ready to renovate a downtown to a campus, the downtown area of Hamilton. Hamilton's going to be a city wholly given over to God. Hamilton is going to be a place where the whole city is awakened to the righteousness of Jesus, and a campus downtown. That whole downtown area is going to be filled with hundreds of students preparing for ministry. We're getting ready to build a camp where young people are going to come to from all over the world and stay for weeks and months at a time and be trained and equipped for ministry. That's what God has put in our hearts to do. For one reason is to take that message to the world. And I am asking you boldly to help us. I believe in this ministry. We know we have a mission from God. I believe you believe in it. It's why you're here this weekend. And I believe, and I know how many of you sitting on the floor can say, I've been blessed by Jesus through the ministry of the ramp. Raise your hand. I want to see your hand. Jesus has touched my life through the ministry.
So Jesus has to use the ramp to reach people, according to Miss Karen here.
Of the ramp.
I don't like the way they talk.
Your hands raised, I want you to give in faith and obedience that the promise God gave me is the promise you receive back into your life. Amen.
Give money.
So those
give
of you
money.
that are sitting in the room, whether you're all the way in the back or right up here in the front, I want you to prepare an offering. If you need an envelope for credit card or for cash giving, you can raise your hand, and we're going to bring you very quickly an envelope. How many in this room tonight need an envelope? You need it if you want a tax receipt at the end of the year, or if you're giving by credit card tonight. Raise your hand high, and we're going to rush and run that to you.
I bet you
Students,
will.
can y'all just run all through this crowd right in the middle? We're going to do the plans for next year. Getting ready to renovate.
I would be very interested to see her finances. I would be very interested to see her finances. I have a feeling that would tell us a lot. But a lot of the things they're saying, and I've studied some cults just because they've always been interesting to me, not in a good way, obviously, but a lot of things they say. This is a cult. This is a cult. Wow. I had no idea that this was this crazy. That music is very Scientology-esque. Yeah, I'm going to go back and watch a lot more of that Rodrigo's stuff. He looked like he's been obviously involved in this and knows quite a bit. So he's probably got some other good videos. But yeah, no, this is a lot of red flags jump out to me in the word usage of that other guy and her. And then remember, their little followers coming out saying you're not allowed. Pretty much, I mean, telling you the devil's going to get you for speaking out against, or I'm sorry, God's going to get you for speaking out against the rent. As a charitable business, which includes the churches, this is a good point. You're not allowed to ask for donations and money for a specific project and then not use that money on that project. You are not allowed to do that. I have a feeling Miss Karen's going to end up in prison over money. Just the little bit I know right now, there's patterns. There's patterns. So this Stephen Womack guy says that he had fallen victim to all of this and he had his blinders on. He said, I know I had to myself, talking about, he says, I know it's hard waking up. And this was over a year ago. This was in March of 25. I know it's hard waking up to the corruption because you first have to accept the fact that you were played for a fool and an idiot. I know I had to myself. I have given well over $100,000 to that ministry over the years because I took the bait Hook, line, and sinker. That's why everyone is so shook that I'm the one speaking out. I was the number one yes man until I found out about covering SA, and because of my background regarding that I was out and go what? Well, he's saying he found out about the allegations being covered up, and so he was out. Wow. And I like how all these stories now are saying leaders of the Rampa Church based in Hamilton issued a public statement addressing allegations of past misconduct involving a former staff member, saying the matter has been reported to authorities and is under investigation. That's not what happened. Because saying it like that is going to make a lot of people think that this was a staff member that worked there long ago and now he's been involved in these incidents. But that's not how it happened, obviously. And again, I agree with, I think it was, I can't remember if it was that Rodrigo guy or not, but whoever said, talking about him like he's just a staff member, yeah, no, that's an understatement. Good night, Katie. So this is and I think I've confirmed this, that he was the CFO. So yeah, calling him a staff member? No, he was second in charge. There's a big difference between second in charge and just a staff member. And these people have been talking about where this money is going for a while now, too. That didn't just come up because of this. So they've been talking about that project since 2008. Wow.
your dwelling place. How lovely is the place where your glory dwells. Oh, my soul longs and even faints for you. My soul longs and even faints.
It's like trance music. It's weird. Hey, good night, Natalie. So she's using tithes to buy property, then writes it off as a loss on taxes. She don't have to write anything off on taxes. They don't pay taxes. Ministries don't pay any taxes.
Bates' younger son, Robert, also uses the proceeds to buy a house of his own to share with his new bride and Larry Bates' secretary, Kenzie Brown Bates. And while waiting for society to collapse, the Bates family uses their clients' money for earthly pleasures.
Generally, it was just sort of a luxurious lifestyle for Larry Bates and his family. They were spending well more than they were taking in as a profit margin. Over the course of the 10 years approximately that we focused on, there were over $2 million in credit card charges for various things.
And members of the family played their role in the family fraud.
Chuck and Robert had been with the FAMC since the early 2000s.
Kenzie Bates answered the phone. She would talk to a lot of the customers. She took many of the calls of customers crying and pleading for their money. And many times she would just give an excuse.
These phone messages are from 2009. You have 7 calendar days to get gold or refund to him. He's a police officer and will issue a fraud complaint, and you will get a personal visit.
This one talked about a $50,000 check that had been sent in 4 months ago. And this next step was to get an attorney. This individual, again for Bob Bates, in February of 2010, is saying he's
Bates' younger son, Robert.
And so that story is about Karen's personal assistant. Wow.
This is a prophetic word for the ramp. I've never done this before. I've never shared any sort of prophecy online like this. This is not something I normally do, but I feel that God has asked me to share this, so I must. Yesterday, I was given more information about the victims of Samuel Bentley. I was shook by this information. I got it verified by somebody who I know is a reliable source, and I was absolutely disgusted. Let me tell you that we are not angry enough. What I know now is absolutely disturbing. I was so disturbed by this that I cried in my bathroom. After that, I went to the Lord in prayer and I asked God, what is going on and what do you want me to do about it? Because I felt powerless. Like, what could I even do? And God gave me this word. So this is the word of God to the ramp. And I don't say that lightly. One small boy brought down Goliath. It may seem like you have lots of support.
God loves it and the devil hates it. And I know why he does, because lives are changed here. In a quick nutshell, for those of you who have never been here before and really not even sure what the ramp is, a lot of people always ask me, what does the ramp mean? Years ago when I shouldn't say this. Years ago when we first started the ramp, somebody asked one of our guys that. They said, what does the word ramp RAMP. What does that stand for? He said, runs away most people. That's not what it stands for. I don't even know why I shouldn't have told that. Oh, my. God loves it and the devil hates it. And I know why he does, because lives are changed here. In a quick nutshell, for those of you who have never been here before and really not even sure what the ramp is, a lot of people always ask me, what is the...
Yeah. A lot of red flags with her.
I spent $2,000 on buying the most expensive plywood known to...
Yep.
Ramp mean?
But the grace of God has been...
Wow. I did not realize there was that much going on there. Because I hadn't looked that much into it like I want to. But I definitely will be now. This is going to be my main thing for sure for the next week or so. Because now I'm telling you, I know what that woman's doing. Check into the whole Page Adams thing. I don't know that I'm familiar with that, but we'll look into it. I know my team has already done quite a bit of research on the ramp and stuff, and I think they put a lot of it in our drive, but like I said, I just hadn't had time to look at it all yet, but I did not realize it was this. Wow. Teacher allowed to resign under investigation by law enforcement. Second time she's had student relations. Let me do one more thing before I forget. Let me see. cannot find anything I'm looking for tonight. Well, I have to wait on that. I'm not finished with it. I was going to show another video, but I'm not finished. I didn't get it yet. All right. Hey, I appreciate each and every one of you being on here. I know it hasn't been the most exciting live tonight, but I've enjoyed it. Definitely a little more laid back, and just relaxing sometimes. But I appreciate all of you, and if you're not following me, please do that. Subscribe. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, please do that. I'm trying to build that up. That'll help me a lot. And let me see what else. I think that's about it for tonight. But I'll see y'all back Monday. And probably be covering mostly, unless something else comes up in the meantime. Probably Monday night, we'll probably go into depth on the ramp, because I'm going to do a lot more digging on that, because it's, again, I know what that woman's doing. And we're going to see what all we can come up with and go from there. But I hope you all have a great rest of your Friday night and good weekend. And if there's anything I can do for anyone, don't hesitate to message me. It may take me a little bit to get back to you, but at some point I will. If you have messaged me, especially if you have messaged me and I've responded and I was supposed to get back to you on anything, please message me again. Please. Because I know there are people I've had conversations with that then I just forgot about. Just kind of got pushed under somewhere. And so please message me again, because I didn't purposely not respond back to you. And other than that, again, still have the Patreon. We'll be going live very, very soon. Looking forward to that. And we've got some other really big things coming up. And then I want to see if we can get some of these people that are involved with the ramp. I'm specifically talking about the people that's been speaking out against it and that has been involved with it, that was a part of it. Let's see if I can get one or two of those on the podcast. May even try to get one of them on live with me next week. I think that would be interesting. But I really appreciate it, and y'all have a good rest of your night. Welcome to Truth Recon. I'm Agent D. Baker, former narcotics detective, SWAT team member, and U.S. Navy combat veteran. With years of real-world experience in high-stakes environments, I've seen firsthand the dangers that lurk both in our communities and increasingly online. Now, before this show begins, understand this. What you are about to hear may be disturbing to some audiences. This podcast contains explicit language, dark themes, and real conversations that are not suitable for children and may be triggering for some individuals. If you choose to continue, do so knowing this content is intended for mature audiences only. Discretion is advised.